Hello everyone. Today we're going to talk about milling airplanes, okay, with your mill scope. So I got JFK in front of me over there, so I got an airplane. So when you're looking at these large commercial airplanes, they're about 220 feet long. Now the vertical stabilizer is about 60 feet tall, right? That's the size of that vertical stabilizer. So if the because in order to basically range estimate based on the length, you kind of need the airplane sitting horizontal to you. But the vertical stabilizer, you can, if it's kind of sitting at you in a diagonal type of position, you can use that vertical stabilizer to range estimate. Okay, so the formula is you're going to take your feet, whether it's the 220 feet long or the 60 feet tall of the vertical stabilizer. You're gonna take that, you're gonna multiply it by 12 to get it into inches, then multiply it by the conversion factor 27.77, and then divide it by the number of mils that you see in your scope. Okay, pause this for a second. Okay, so here's the primary arms, PLX compact 1:8 by 24, first focal point. And I have found this to be really ideal for trying to range estimate large things at a distance, because you got 200 mils on the vertical axis and 200 on the horizontal. And what I found is that when you're with the airplanes in particular, a lot of times I rarely go over 3 power, and a lot of times I just have to come back to 1 power, because they're just so far away. That if I zoom in, I'm basically spending too much time hunting. Okay, whereas if I if I stay out in 1 power, I can quickly find it, get on it. And what I'm doing is, rather than when you look at this, when you look at the mill lines over here, what I'm doing is I'm kind of looking at the darker sections rather than going to the center. I'm coming a little further out. Actually, let me zoom this. I can see it without having to zoom in at 3, but for you guys, I think I'm gonna have to zoom in at a little bit so you guys can see the. All right, so if you look at the little lines, right, the dark lines, you can easily count like 5, 10, 15, 20. I'll try and pause the camera for you guys so you guys can see it a little bit better. So that's a quick, easier way to basically get your, to get your measures. Rather than going to the center, stick to the darker part of the stadia lines, because those are subdivided into 5, 10, 15, 20s. And there's, if you need to get more accurate than that, then you can zoom in. But especially if you got like that, because I've been actually range estimating airplanes that, like, while they're flying in the air, I've been basically, like, there's one over there, I've been basically range estimating them, and I'm able to quickly, like, size them up, let's say at 5 mils, using those dark lines. So this is an excellent scope for like a real world application where you're not just shooting at the target, right? Because remember, a lot of times, when you look at these a lot of these military snipers, a lot of people think that they spend all the time like doing that 1 shot, 1 kill type of thing. They actually spend a lot more time just doing observation, radioing back information, calling in airstrikes and artillery strikes. So the observation part is they do a lot more observation than actual shooting, from everything that I've been able to gather. Okay, so a lot of fun. I've done a lot of videos on this scope, so I'm not going to get into the details of like how to mill it, because I did this in just like the previous video. But I wanted to just point out that information with regards to milling airplanes. With the large commercial airplanes, those are the numbers you got to remember. They average, the large ones, and you can tell the large ones, they have about 40 windows. The smaller ones, so the ones that have about 40 windows, they're about 220 feet long, and the vertical stabilizer is about 60 feet tall. The ones that have about 20 windows, those are about 175 feet long. Okay, so you can use that information to range estimate. I've also been range estimating these trains that have been going back and forth over here. The train carts, right, because here I'm outside JFK, the train carts are about 60 feet long, and I've been able to range estimate that little bridge that you see over there. Actually, this section over here, that section over there is at 900 yards. This section over here, where I'm kind of in the middle of my screen, that's at about 700 yards. So I've been able to both use the rangefinder and use the mill scope to basically confirm those measures. So these are like kind of like standard measures, like railroad carts are being about 60 feet long, tractor trailers being about 75 feet long. So there's certain numbers you just want to memorize, and it makes milling a lot easier. Okay, so talk to you all soon.